I'm Tamima and this is Real Talk. Tonight we get candid on celibacy and the reality of the wait in today's day and age. My guests are saying, I'm a virgin and proud. Welcome to the show. So my first guest on the show tonight is Rehab Nganga. Rehab is 35 years old and she has been walking her talk. Rehab, welcome to Real Talk.
Thank you.
So 35 years old in modern Kenya.
Yes.
And you're a virgin.
Yes.
So maybe put that into perspective for us. When did you make the decision that you're going to wait for marriage?
For me, it's been a journey. Having been brought up in a Christian background, my mom was very hard on us, and she wanted us to grow up. I've been brought up in a family of girls. She wanted us to grow up in the right way. Yeah, so she introduced us to church when we were very young. So I've grown up in church when I was very young. So at my early age, that is in primary school and high school, I decided to wait, not because I knew the dangers of waiting, the benefits of waiting or the dangers of not waiting. For me, it was about, one, being brought up in a Christian family. So you go to church, there are groups for girls, there are youth camps where you are taught about waiting. But I think in primary school and high school, for me we were told that if you play around with boys, you get pregnant.
Right.
And when you get pregnant, you drop out of school. And having born and brought up in a very humble background, I knew the only thing that can help me is education. So anything that could make me stop education was a no-go zone for me.
What about now in your adulthood?
Yes.
When now you're a bit more grown up, perhaps your 20s. Did you ever date?
I think the value of waiting was instilled to me in high school when I came to know the Lord. Just before I joined campus, I had a relationship, which we dated for around 2.5 years, but it didn't work. Yeah, in my 20s, I then had another relationship, still in my 20s, but it didn't work.
So do you feel like sometimes the reason the relationships fail is because of your stance, saying that you will wait?
One thing I can clarify, being a Christian, I've dated Christian men who still believe that sex before marriage is a sin. So we share that value. However, it's one thing to know and it's one thing to do it. Especially in my first relationship was a bit hard. Because my boyfriend believed sex before marriage is a sin, but we can do anything else. The whole question of how far is too far. I think for me, because of my upbringing, my boundaries were very close, and for him was too far. So we couldn't agree how far is too far.
And currently, are you dating?
No, I mean not.
So generally when you meet men, and you tell them that you are a 35-year-old virgin, what is the reaction?
It depends with which kind of men.
Right.
Church men, they appreciate that. Right. As all people who believe in Jesus, they appreciate that. Our society today, they don't believe it. So they'll say, you're just talking. It's not true. And others are asking, at this age, oh,
so now it's like you've been rejected. It's
yes.
not a value anymore.
It's no longer a value.
It's like there's something wrong with Rehab.
Yeah, others will tell me you need to try, you need to practice. It's a non-negotiable thing. So we'll talk on how can we sustain it? How can we make it in this journey?
I want to introduce my next guest, Daphne Kabeberi. Daphne is 27 years old, and like Rehab, Daphne is also a virgin. Welcome to the show, Daphne. So you're 27 and you are still a virgin. So at what point did you make the decision that I will wait?
So similarly to Rehab, I was brought up Christian, but I don't think necessarily a Christian upbringing can hold you in the faith. Right. The fact is that I do know Jesus personally for myself. And in the walk, there just came a time, like the time when I decided I actually do want to follow Christ. So the time when he called me unto himself. When you read the Bible, it's very, very clear the kind of stipulations God gives for believers. And I was convinced in his word that God knows the best thing for me. So I can't say that I have remained a virgin out of pain or desperation or lack of opportunity, but it's the fact that I know that God has said that that sex is for marriage, and so I'm going to wait if ever I get married, that is the time then I would give up my virginity.
Have you ever at any one point in your life felt pressured because of the choice that you've made to be a virgin?
Interestingly, no, not really. In university, I'd see people around me sleeping around, and I've never desired that kind of lifestyle. Like, I never looked and thought, I want to be that chick. Because the heart that comes with it, the pain, the confusion, the stress running for P2s in the morning, like, there's no time I ever thought, yeah, that's the life I desire. And it's also helpful that my friends, many of my friends are also virgins, so it's not even a strange thing to me, actually. In fact, it's only here that people are like, that's so odd. I'm like, really? Because the friends that I have, many are in their late 20s and virgins because they're not yet married. So the pressure has actually possibly been towards remaining a virgin.
If I had to ask you, have you dated?
Yeah, I have.
So how do the relationships work for you?
Well, just like I said, since I believe that sex is within the commitment of marriage, that's one man and one woman committing to each other for life, then dating relationships would just involve getting to know each other, but there's no need necessarily for a physical relationship. And I think the reality is that once you say no once, then you say no twice, it actually becomes very easy to say no over and over again.
Before you get into a relationship with a guy, you have to make sure that first his values are aligned to yours.
So I've only ever dated Christians, or at least people who claims to be Christian, because then I like, if I'm dating, it's because I'm thinking maybe I could be married to this person, and I'd only ever marry somebody, as you said, with the same values as I have. So they'd be Christians and they would believe the same thing that sex is for marriage.
And maybe, Alia, just to touch on a bit of what Rehab said, where she said sometimes walking the talk is very difficult, and especially with guys. Like, she struggled with a guy, like she told us, his idea of how far they could go was very different from hers. So have you had a similar experience whereby maybe you met a guy at the beginning, he's like, oh, I'm all for it, I get where you're coming from, but when you find yourself in the relationship and as you guys get to know each other more, then it's kind of like the guy now expects you to change your mind and sort of like succumb to the moment?
I think it could be the guy. It could also be me, because I'm still human. I have flesh and I have to battle against my flesh. But there are very simple things you do, like, I just will not be alone with you. And in Kenya, there's no way that I can end up having sex on the street. So as long as I am only ever in public areas with somebody, that immediately just cuts out lots of the levels of temptation that could come.
So that's how you deal with it for yourself.
Exactly.
You don't allow yourself to be in that situation where it even gets to be a question of should we or should we not?
Because I'm still human. So I have the Holy Spirit in me, but I'm still battling against my flesh, the sinful nature in me every day. It's not easy, and I have to have I have to have friends around me to support me, and I have to always come back to God's word, come back to prayer, and do practical things. Like, I just will not, just the things you're told in, I don't know if it's home science or class 7, do not be alone with a boy in a dark area. Simple. Follow those things.
My next guest is Samson. He's 28 years old, a student, and he's also a virgin. So Samson, welcome to the show. Samson, maybe tell us, for you, when was that moment when you knew that? It's one thing to be told, don't have sex before marriage, but it's another thing to make the choice as an individual, and especially as a man in this day and age, and for you to decide that, hey, you know what, I'm going to wait until marriage.
It started when I was in primary school. My teacher used to emphasize on the importance of waiting for the right girl and knowing that before you do anything, you're supposed to count what is good and what is bad.
I can imagine probably society is less judgmental to women when they say I'm a virgin. And for you as a guy, when you tell your fellow friends that I'm a virgin, how do they respond?
For me, I try to associate with friends who are Christian, who can share the same mind I have, and who can approve some of the decisions I make.
And now, in your case, Samson, have you ever dated?
Not yet.
You've never had a girlfriend?
Not yet.
Ever?
Not yet.
Why do you think that is? Is it that you've never wanted to have one, or perhaps you've never met somebody who you thought you could be that intimate with?
I chose first to finish my school, and also I've not yet found that right person, but it's because I'm still studying, and I don't want to rush into making decisions that will make me make the wrong decision. I hate seeing ladies, heartbreaking ladies. It's not good.
Okay. So what are you looking for as Samson when the time comes?
I'm looking forward to finding the right person.
So I just want to pose it to my audience. So do you think that society is less judgmental when a woman is a virgin than when a man is a virgin? Clap if you agree that it's more shocking to find a 28-year-old man who's a virgin. My next guest is Leroy Mosela, who is 22 years old, a civil engineering student. So he says he's had a strict upbringing, and from his faith, he's actually like Samson, never had a girlfriend. Welcome to the show, Leroy.
Thank you.
So you had Samson talking. He's obviously way older than you, 28, and you are 23 years old. So probably tell us, when did you make the decision and actually said, I'm going to stay firm in being focused and I'm not going to have sex. I'm not interested in having a girlfriend right now. When was that moment for you?
For me, it's like everyone else who has come before me. They're like my mentors. When I found my faith, yeah, and so that's when I really made that decision. And what has kept me going is that I would like to be happy with someone else, like a good relationship. And so I think one of the steps to having a good relationship is that waiting period makes it something special.
Do you ever get pressured by your age mates, especially being in campus today in 2018?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So what sort of pressure comes your way?
It's mostly the talk that goes around. Today, where we're going? Yeah, we have to go out, something like that. Some friends, classmates might be like, "Yo, Lito, we would never see you with us during gigs and stuff," and so that kind of pressure.
And what about, is it a choice that you've never had a girlfriend? Because I'm sure if I talk to a lot of your age mates in this room, some of them are going on girlfriend number 10, you know, next week they're probably dating number 11. So how are you able to stay firm in your resolve?
Mostly it's on faith and the decision to focus on what, for now, I think would matter to me in life. And that's building career, my future, so that by the time I'm having someone else in my life, they find at least I have some foundation. I'm stable, I can take care of them also. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Right now I want to introduce one of our experts tonight. We have Diane Masinde in studio with us. Diane is a practicing counselor and his area of expertise is actually in relationships. So Diane, as a man, why do you feel like there is undue pressure, especially on the boy child, for a boy child to actually come and say, I'm a 28-year-old virgin?
Yeah, I think what's going on, I can actually even tell with the audience, when Samson stood up, oh my goodness, there was uproar. How now? Mwanaume mzima kama yeye, I could hear even some voices in the background like, you know? So, because that's how, the number one organ that a man is very, very conscious about is what is between his legs. That's the number one thing that is very, very conscious for a man. And that's why men compete when it comes to size. If you want to make fun of your man, it's the size. And then men also look at body count. How many ladies have you slept with? So that's the kind of thing that a lot of men are actually wired or thinking that they're meant to be like that. But it's not true. And your body is your personal responsibility. No one should tell you what to do with it. If you want to keep it until the right one, it is your decision. If you mess up your body, that's on you.
Remember, you can join the conversation via the hashtag #RealTalk with Tamima. Tonight, we are spotlighting celibacy and the reality of the wait. You've had my guests sharing their stories. And if I'm being candid, the reason that we are talking about this subject tonight is simply because you know that the schools are closed, young ones are home from school, and they have 2 whole months at home. So we are trying to talk to some young man out there, talk to a young woman out there, just to know that, you know what? Don't feel like if you've made the choice to wait, you are weird, you're a stranger. And that's why we're showing you examples of people, even late into their adulthood, they're still holding firm to their values. And what we are saying is that it's okay. Well, right now, we're going to be taking a very quick break. When we come back, still more to come here for you on Real Talk. Welcome back to Real Talk. Remember, tonight we are talking about the wait, celibacy, and of course the pressures that come with it. Earlier on, you had the stories from my guests, some very candid story on how they've been able to actually practice what they talk. being a virgin at 35, being a virgin at 28 is definitely no easy feat in today's society. So we just want to put this issue into perspective, and remember that you can join the conversation via the hashtag #RealTalkWithTamima on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Let me know what your thoughts, comments, and views are on tonight's topic. Right now, I want to introduce my next guest, Audrey Misiko, who is 20 years old, and Audrey is saying that she is vowing that she'll be a virgin until marriage. Audrey, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So how did it make you feel watching the likes of Rehab?
I can say they are my role models. They keep me going. The way they were talking about how they want to keep it till marriage. And to me, I think it's my parents' upbringing what made me stick to this.
Have you ever felt pressured from other people? Maybe, why are you still a virgin when everybody else is doing it?
Not really, because my cycle of friends, I think they're virgins, all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, girls. Not really. The guys, I don't know, but for the girls, they are.
Have you ever had a boyfriend?
Yeah.
So, is he someone who also had the same values as you?
That's what he kept saying, but then again, he came and cheated.
He cheated on you?
Yeah.
So he was clearly having sex?
Somewhere
with somebody else?
Yeah.
But lying to you that he's willing?
He's waiting for...
Right. Obviously, since this was your boyfriend, he must have been someone that you cared about.
Yeah.
So how did it make you feel to know that it is your decision to be a virgin, that because he couldn't handle your values, he chose to go cheat and be with somebody else?
I was heartbroken. I think till now, I've not had a boyfriend. That was first year. Now I'm in third year.
Okay.
So I'm still single.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Audrey. Let me have Doreen next. So Doreen, like Audrey, you are 21 years old?
Yeah, I'm 21 years. For me, it started back after high school. And then now my mom was like telling us, kindly, if you want your husband like to respect you, stay a virgin till marriage. So that has kept me going. Yeah, I can say that. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever felt pressured?
Not really, because in our family, like us, we are ladies, and all of us, we are virgins. Yeah.
When you say all of us, the oldest one is how old?
Okay, she's 30 years old.
And she's still a virgin?
Yeah, she's still a virgin. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. And I want to throw it to the audience, because as she was talking, guys here were just like, oh. So let me ask you guys, do you generally believe, because everybody here, I believe, we are mostly 26 and under, and do you believe that there's a lot of pressure right now in today's society to have sex? Clap if you believe there's a lot of pressure to have sex. Okay, so not everybody clapped. Did you clap? Who doesn't believe there's pressure to have sex? So tell me, why do you think that it's actually a misconception that there's pressure to have sex?
Hi, I'm Alex. So, on my opinion, I think there's no pressure, and it's all about what you want to do in life and the goals you want to achieve. So, having that pressure about having sex, I don't think it's a big issue, and it should be like, we should be more focused in what we want to do and what we are going to do better in the near future.
Okay, thank you, Alex. I have another comment from the audience. I have with me a lady this time, and she disagrees with Alex's point of view. She's saying that, in fact, there is too much pressure to actually have sex today. So, Nikki, tell me, why do you feel like there's too much pressure to have sex today for the average young person?
Okay, I think like for the average person, like in campus life, having sex has just been normalized. Like if you come to your hostel, like you find like for the guys, if you're sharing a hostel, like you are two guys, and if the girlfriend to your friend comes to visit, you'll be told, leo niko na my girlfriend na ni sleepover, sa ujipange. Like it's a normal thing, you as a guy utajipanga.
Do you think also girls have the same pressure
to have sex? I think like the virginity thing is double standard. Like for guys, it's okay, you can have sex as much as you want, but for girls, you try as much to be a virgin because there's that you don't want to be labeled as the whore.
Do you agree with her? So can I ask a question? Who are the guys having sex with, if not girls? Because you're saying, yeah? Aren't you guys agreeing? Hold on. You've just agreed that there is a lot of pressure, for boys especially, to be sexually active, because culturally, that's how, like Diane said earlier, the body count is how, for some of them, they prove their manhood. But for girls, girls are taught to be a virgin until marriage. So let's be honest, guys. Let's get real. Who are the boys then having sex with? And maybe at this point, let me introduce our other counselor. We have Patricia. Okay, so Patricia, tell us. I mean, you heard her statements. So who are the boys having sex with, if not the girls, who are all purportedly virgins?
No, they are definitely having sex with the girls, because she said it correctly. When the boys in high school or college have a visitor who is my girlfriend, we're jipange. So the girlfriend is here, so the girls. So they're having sex with the girls. But I think, Tamima, it is also very important that we educate them. Number one, what is sex? Because unless you know what something is, then you will misuse it. And number two, what was sex created for? Because you could be misusing something. And you know when you misuse something, it is a sin. Number one, sex is supposed to bring a man and a woman together, make them one. When you have sex with a man, you become one. Body, soul, everything about you becomes one. That's why we say we consummated a marriage. We brought a man and a woman together. So if you're not ready to come together with one man, then you're not ready for sex. Number two, when these people come together, what keeps them together? Sex. And number three, it was the first commandment that God gave to human beings. Be fruitful and multiply. The only way a man and a woman can be fruitful and multiply is through sex. So sex has three reasons only. Sex is not for pleasure. Sex is not for you and everybody else. Sex is for you and one person. That's why God created Adam and Eve.
Okay.
Other than that, no sex.
Okay, thank you, Patricia. So remember, you can join the conversation via the hashtag #RealTalkWithTamima. What are your views? Is there too much pressure on young people today to have sex, or is it just something, pressure that is all made up, and ultimately it comes down to your choice as an individual? Let me know on #RealTalkWithTamima. My next guest is Faith Shikanga. Faith is 23 years old. She is a student, and her story, when it comes to the weight, is a very interesting one. So Faith, you are obviously someone who aims to be celibate before marriage.
Yeah.
However, your walk with celibacy is a bit different.
Yeah.
Probably just explain that to us.
So I'm not really sure how to define what I am right now, because virginity is described differently with different people. So if it's in the church, they'll be like, oh, you know, it starts from the mind, or once you started, maybe you've kissed someone or you made out with someone, then that's it, you know, or once you've reached a certain step, even though there wasn't maybe penetration, you maybe are not a virgin. So for me, it's, I think I am one, but sometimes I don't know.
So you think you are one? So you think you are one because you've never had intercourse?
Yes.
However, and I think for all of us, we've passed through social studies. You know, there's that thing you used to learn in GNC, the staircase. It starts with one, heavy petting, Ivo, mpaka unafika number 10, where now 10 is intercourse. So for you, you're not at 10 intercourse, but you've climbed that staircase.
Yeah.
Okay. So climbing the staircase being 10.
Yeah.
And 0 being the sitting room.
Yeah.
Like some of our earlier guests, they're just in the sitting room.
Yeah.
They're not even interested in going up that staircase.
Yeah.
So where are you on the staircase?
Maybe at a 5.
You're at a 5.
Yeah.
So you're questioning if you're at a 5, if that still makes you a virgin.
Yeah.
I want to ask my experts in studio, and probably just to put it into perspective, what is virginity? Diane?
Well, there are 5 types of people in our society. Number 1 is the people who are now virgins, what we consider virgins, where those ones are on 0 or on 5. There are some who are virgins, no penetration, but their mind have gone so far. they have touched themselves, they've whatnot, they've seen pornography, they've done all those things. And usually the second one on the first point, it is because of the pressure of sex is a sin and whatnot. So because they have sex as a sin and mahanjam ziko nyingi, like they get excited and whatnot, they are humans. And so they experiment on those other avenues. And there's the second types of people who are the secondary virginity ones, who did the intercourse, and then finally they were like, you know what, because this sex brought me a lot of hurt, I choose to now keep and wait. And now there's the third one who go like, you know what, I don't even intend to get married. So there's no one to keep myself for. I will have as much fun as I possibly can. If I see you, I like you, I do you, I go. The third type of people, if you trace back, you will see a level of hurt, which is why they don't believe in marriage. And now then there's a fourth type of people who go like, you know what, I am in love with you, I'm in a relationship, we're going to get married after all, so let's do this. So they're in a relationship, they're not married, but they're like, you know what, we're actually going to do it. So let's actually get to do this thing right now. We are in a romantic relationship, we're heading to marriage. And then there's a fifth one who go like, when it's time for me to get serious, then I will be serious with sex. As of now, I'm a young person, I'm hot-blooded, I'm going to go ahead and just do kind of stuff. So all those people need to realize that your body is your responsibility and you choose to do whatever it is that you want to do with it, but there are consequences.
Right, so I want to introduce my next guest, Miriam. Miriam is 24 years old and she lost her virginity at 19 years old. Miriam, welcome to the show. So for you, you're saying that there was too much pressure on you to be a virgin.
Yeah.
And once you lost your virginity, you felt the pressure was now off. Mm-hmm. You could live your life.
Yeah.
And since then, you've had boyfriends, I think 8 boyfriends, is that correct?
Yeah.
And of the 8 boyfriends, there are those who you have been intimate with and there are those you haven't.
Yeah.
So having listened to everything that has been said here today, do you regret not being a virgin?
Okay, no, because being not a virgin, I've learned more. I've gone through life experience and through that I've learned a lot. So I don't regret not being a virgin.
And right now for you, are you in a relationship?
No.
Okay. So I want to introduce someone very quickly as well here. Ashley, welcome to the show. So Ashley, you're 20 years old and you are a mom to a 1 year, almost 2 years now. 1 year, 9 months, is it?
Yeah.
Boy or girl?
Boy.
Boy, mama boy, congratulations, okay. But now your story is a bit different because before your child, you also had another child previously who you lost at 7 weeks, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And right now, you're saying that you broke your virginity when you're in class 7. And can I just ask you guys, why are we applauding? Why are we applauding? Because if I had to ask you, Ashley, are you proud that you lost your virginity at class 7?
I'm okay with it.
And right now, you're saying that today, you don't want to be in a relationship?
No.
You're not looking to fall in love?
No.
For you, you are ready to have sex anytime and anywhere with no attachments. It's your body.
Not anywhere.
Okay. Anytime. You're ready to get going. No attachments, no strings attached.
Yes.
And probably, I want to rope in Patricia here because I think we have 3 different ladies up here. And I like that Diane told us about the 5 different types of people. Because we have Faith. Faith is struggling with herself. And then we have, on the other hand here, we have Ashley. And for you, you're coming from a point of your body, your choice.
Yeah.
And you're saying you're not looking for love. For you, it's sex with no attachment. Mm-hmm. So if I had to ask you, how many partners have you had so far?
I don't know.
You don't know, or
I
there are
don't
so
count.
many?
Oh, God.
If you had to give me a number. Okay, so let me be pragmatic here. Is that number above 10, 20?
20.
It's above 20. Okay. So we have Ashley there. And then also we have Miriam. Clearly Miriam at some point For you, virginity was something that meant something, but then you went out into the world, to campus, I believe?
Yeah.
And now for you, it's more or less the same, that you believe like Ashley?
Yeah.
Your body?
My choice.
Your choice.
Yeah.
So I want to bring Patricia into this conversation. As a counselor, as an older woman, what would you say to each of them?
It's sad that I'm watching 3 beautiful, very beautiful girls who are struggling with self-love. You need to love yourselves more, because if you don't love yourself, then you cannot take care of yourself. Because when you get to a point where you can give your body to anybody with no strings attached, then it means you don't value yourself. Then it means you're ready for all the consequences. You're ready to get sick. You're ready to get killed. You know, you're ready to everything that comes with sex, all the negativities.
Ashley, do you love yourself? Do you value yourself?
But of course. No, you don't.
So you disagree with what Patricia is saying?
Yes.
And when you're having... And you, do you love yourself?
Yeah, I do.
You value yourself?
Yeah.
So for the both of you, when you're having this intercourse, are you taking the necessary precautions?
Yeah.
Okay. And when I say precautions, just to be clear, what precautions are you taking?
Condoms. Yeah, condoms.
As well?
Yeah.
When was the last time you got tested for HIV?
This year. Yeah, this year.
This year?
Yeah, around August. Yeah.
So have you since been sexually active after you got tested?
Yeah.
I get tested after 3 months because I'm still breastfeeding, so I must get tested. Each time I take my son cleaning, on a clinic.
Okay, and I want to rope in Dan here because you're bringing in a man's perspective.
Ask Ashley a question. Have you ever been sexually cheated on? You were with a man, maybe you had feelings for him, and then he cheated on you sexually. Has it ever happened?
Maybe
while I was dating, but
While you're dating.
now akicheat tu ni sawa because hatuko attached.
So while you're dating, why did sex mean a lot then and doesn't mean a lot outside of a relationship?
Nimpe nisimpe atenda tu bado akule nje, so atakuna difference.
Okay.
Ashley, what about, because you have a child, yes, you have a son. So where is your son's father today? Were you guys in a relationship when you got this child?
Yes.
So you were in a relationship, a faithful one with each other?
I was faithful then.
Do you think that perhaps maybe that's where your heart is coming from?
I was betrayed twice, so I can't go back there.
So that you see, when I was talking about being cheated on sexually, that means that there's a part of you that views sex as a beautiful, special thing. That's why at that particular point, you were heartbroken. And if you look at the #1 cause of failed relationships or marriages in this day and age is infidelity. Why? Because in as much as we want to joke and be very casual about sex, at the core of it, we really value that thing. I gave you this, the special part of me, and you're giving it to somebody else. And as I said, yes, right?
Si compare sex peke.
No. I know. It's not sex alone. It's not sex alone. Let me say something about that. Okay. Because even as we raise our children, a lot of us, we want to raise our children to have somebody who respects them, who loves on them. And whenever we flip the script, we be like, how do you want to raise your child? We end up realizing that we want our child to be sexually responsible. There's some people to whom sex is about control. I have control over you. I can dress however it is that I want. I can make you feel a certain type of way. And if you notice, just go on to our Instagrams and our Facebook pages and whatnot. What are the posts that get the most likes and attention? The one that shows the behind, the one that shows a bit of more skin. Why? Because we're teaching ourselves that's what we want to see. And then also for people who are virgins, there is something called self-control. To them, it's power that I can control myself. So those are two different forms of power. There's I can control myself, and then the other one is I have power over you. When I want you, I can call you, you come, I have what you need, I do you, you go. I have power over you. And that, eventually, we grow out of it. Because guess what? Sex has a shelf life. There's a time when you will not even be having sex. Another particular point, that's when you ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? What have I been doing with my life? Because wait until you reach in your 50s or 60s as a woman. That time is coming. If you're a man, that tool of yours, that gadget, it is coming to fail. Give you a few decades. Inakuja kufail. When it fails, who are you? What's your principles, your values? What do you want to be? What's your legacy? Think about that.
Maybe Ashley, is he talking to you? Because I can see you eye rolling. Ni kama inaingia hapa inatoka hapa. It's like me, this is me, take it or leave it.
No, unajua Tamima, siku hizi sex ni kama unameza time unajisikia uko mbaya.
Okay.
So, okay, mimi nimemsikia, nimemwelewa.
Umeelewa Diane where he's coming from. And maybe let me bring Faith into this discussion because I can see you're looking at her like she's a Martian.
No. It's not her.
Yes.
It's the comment Patricia made.
Right.
I think I do love myself. Two, I think you're basing your thoughts based on Christianity, which is a good thing. Maybe she's not a Christian. I don't know if you've considered that. Two, everyone has a right to choose. She chose that. Maybe she doesn't love herself. Maybe it's like a thing, you know, that she has gone to. But I felt it. I'm just saying maybe. I don't know her story as her. You get what I'm saying? Everyone here has a story. There are people who don't struggle with it at all. You know, don't struggle with it at all. That's really good. That's their testimony. My testimony is every day I make a conscious choice to choose not to. You get what I'm saying? I go through struggles. I get attracted to men. You know, sometimes I have feelings. Sometimes the hormones, you know, like they're like this. But then, wait. But every day it's a conscious choice. It's a choice to say, you know what? The grace today is sufficient. I'm not going to do this. I'm not proud that along the way I tripped, but I didn't fall. Every day I pick up myself. So I do love myself.
If I had to ask you, do you think you'll stay firm in your resolve to stay a virgin until marriage?
Yes, I do, because at the end of the day, I think what is the true testimony is that, I think for me, a beautiful testimony is, I went through this hard time and God is real, but I'm not saying that people I'm not saying that people who have not struggled with it, but for me, probably I'm more relatable to young people out there because I have been tempted. I've struggled. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? I've struggled. That doesn't make for you to say that I don't love myself because I've struggled. I'm like, okay, so what? So I should not struggle. I should not go through these temptations and consciously make a decision not to, so that I become pure, holy, acceptable, lovable to society, to church, to Christians. You know what I'm saying? It's a choice. It's a choice. She made her choice. She made her choice. I'm making my choice every day, every single day. Maybe I'll make it, maybe I'll not, but it's my hope that I will.
So as we talk about the struggle, I want to introduce my next guest, Rachel Akinyi. Rachel is 27 years old, and indeed she struggled with keeping the vow to wait until marriage. And she unfortunately says that at a weak moment in her life, she got in a relationship, and it is when she succumbed, lost her virginity, but now she's on a different walk where she's practicing secondary virginity. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I saw you paying very close attention to what the girls up here are talking about, the struggle.
Yeah.
So having been someone who has literally been on both ends, you came where Rahab was, saying that I want to be a virgin until marriage. You met someone. So probably tell us about that.
I'll trace it back to when I was younger. When I was younger, we had house helps. Everyone has house helps, right? And there are certain house helps who make you have sex with your neighbor kid. At that time, I was in class 1. And so you're a kid, you're forced to have sex, you don't really know what it is. So from that, I overruled that and said I'm a virgin, because I was younger. But in the instance of that, you're still dealing with sexual addiction, because now you've been involved in this, and you're dealing with masturbation because church says if you have sex, you'll go to hell. So you're dealing with masturbation as a way of running away from having sex. My case was my mom passed on, and I think at that point, I kind of lost the virtue of what's churchianity, what's Christianity, who's God, So in that anger, I met someone who probably gave me solace. It was a situationship, not a relationship. I got to understand what situationship was at that time. And did I lose my virginity knowingly? No, I did not. People are naive. I was naive. I realized I had sex after he said, you need to take a pill the next day. I'm not happy I lost it. I'm not. But it happened, you know, and you have to move forward. So moving forward is difficult because now you're in a relationship which you think you're going to be getting married, which of course we didn't get married anyway. But since you think it's going to happen and you've already lost it anyway, so you may as well just lose it over again. And then I don't know what virginity is. Someone needs to explain what virginity is because videos have it that, oh, when now there's blood, then you've lost your virginity. Then maybe I would say there was blood and that's how I lost my virginity. But it's crazy. What's virginity anyway? I still appreciate the idea of sex before marriage. I wouldn't say it's a sin because no one is really perfect, but abstinence for me is really important.
Probably listening to you talk, I sense some pain. I sense some pain, and I think really you began your story by saying that as a child, you went through some sexual abuse, whereby somebody who should have protected you took advantage and put you in a situation that you had no business being in as a child. And getting into your adulthood, whereby you are well-meaning, but even the reason why when this man came along, it was easy for you to, you know, say that I didn't know that was sex, because you didn't know that was sex.
I actually didn't know what sex was.
And I kind of feel like there's some trauma that you need to deal with. And I'm going to invite Patricia, because Patricia, you're a counselor. And just listening to you talk, there's a lot of pain, whereby I can tell you value yourself, which is a great place to be.
I feel her pain. You know, the pain of losing a parent is not easy. And she developed a coping mechanism, anger. And she did things out of anger, bitterness. You know, she claims that she was angry at God, which is okay. It's just a way of dealing with pain. But I'm happy she came to her senses. Now she knows. And you know, the good thing about knowing, you know the truth and the truth will set you free. I'd urge her not to live with regret, because what she didn't know. She did it out of pain, she did it out of anger, but now that she knows, she can move forward with the knowledge that she knows. Don't beat yourself, don't live in regret. Use the knowledge that now you know. You know that you know, and you can move forward with that kind of knowledge. It is okay. We all goof. We all make mistakes at some point, but we get up, dust yourself, and you move forward. You have a wound in your heart that probably you will need some professional help to be able to heal that wound so that you don't do again things from that point of pain. Once you've healed, then you can be able to see clearly. You can be able to move forward clearly without that fear.
I want to introduce my next guest, who is Mary Buri. Mary is 33 years old, and sort of like an icing to the cake of the discussion that we've been having tonight, Mary's story is really the golden ticket. So I'm going to let her share her story with us. Mary, welcome to Real Talk.
Thank you.
So like a lot of our guests here, you chose to be a virgin, and you actually saw it through. Take us through what your experience has been like.
What I would say is that, especially to everyone who is thinking whether it's possible, it is possible. And the struggle is definitely real. But, like you said, there's enough grace to take you through. I remember for me, where I grew up was not really a friendly place. I grew up in Isili. There was a TV show I watched, and the person was encouraging people to be abstinent. So I read a dictionary and understood what abstinence meant. And I thought to myself, this is what I want. But looking at where I was growing up, looking at the influences around me, it did not look possible. Most of the people I went to school with lost their virginity in primary school. Others lost it in high school. Others campus. So it wasn't really supported by how I grew up. So I would say the thing that kept me going was my faith in God, and that I knew that I did not have to do it alone. I could ask for help. And so I asked for help on so many occasions. But as I continued to ask for help, my mind was made up that this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. And the reason why I wanted to do it was I had a pact with God. And the agreement was, please bless me with a good marriage, and I promise to meet you at the altar as a virgin. Because I understood, God can do all he can do, but then I can do all I want to do. So that was the balance for me.
So you met a man, and how long were you guys dating before you got married?
So I met my husband in my 4th year of campus. Actually, he picked me from school, but before then I dated severally. And we dated for 4 years, and we waited for each other, and we got married, and we had sex for the first time on our wedding night.
So you got married at 26?
Yes, yes.
Today you're 33.
Yes.
And maybe talking to the young girls, what would you say to them, for you as a woman, coming into marriage as a virgin? What are some of the benefits that you have experienced?
Well, I think one of the benefits for me is personal. It's not really something that is explainable. Is that it's because I went into it knowing that I am taking this as a gift to God. So it's my end of the bargain. So I went to the altar, and on that day, I remember when I was wearing my gown, I told God we made it, Number 2, the other benefit was that the day I was making a pact with God, the other promise was that I will give this as a gift to my husband because I had asked you for a good marriage. So this is the one thing that I can take before. So as I gave myself to my husband on that night, I knew I was presenting myself as a gift. The other benefit that I've experienced is that I am confident. And I'm confident because I know something about myself, and I know something about the God that I serve. I know that if you ask for help, he gives it to you. And I've also known something about my own resolute, that if I say I will not do something, then I will not do it. If I say that I will do something, then I will do it. But I need help to get there. And the other thing is that it gives me a platform where I can sit and, share my heart, talk to people, help them see that there is actually a benefit. And the greatest benefit is that, like Patricia said before, my body is sacred, not just to me, it is also sacred to God. And now that I am married, it is sacred to my husband. It is possible.
So Rahab, Daphne, Samson, Audrey, I think really for a lot of you guys, she's the goal. Because she has lived through what your objective is. When you say that you're abstaining, you're walking the talk. It's not just saying it, you're willing to overcome all the pressures. She's the goal. Remember, this is a conversation that we cannot exhaust in this one sitting, but I'm really praying and hoping that we inspired somebody out there, we talked to somebody out there, and the one thing that came out through today was that your body is sacred. And you have to remember that any choice you make, choices have consequences, and sometimes engaging in intercourse is not just about getting pregnant for the girls. There are so many other things you have to be wary about. We live in dangerous times. We live in a time of disease. And I'm really hoping that in this time, you will make the right choice for yourself. And if it's something you're already engaging in, don't feel the pressure to remain in that situation. As you've heard here again, there are other means available to you. You can practice secondary virginity. It's a choice. Bottom line, it's a choice. There's nobody who's far too gone. There's nobody who is a sinner and cannot be redeemed. At the end of the day, it's a choice that you make to value yourself and value your body. Well, on that note, that's it from me, Tamima. I hope that you learned something from today's episode. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Hello, how are you? This is Spontaneous, and this is the Real Talk, and we're going to be talking about celibacy.
Hello and welcome. This is Real Talk with Toby, and today we are talking about celibacy and how the youth are trying to live in the celibacy life?
Welcome, this is Real Talk. With you, it's Alex. Today's topic and subject is celibacy and how to go on with it.
Hello, I am Tamima. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the show week after week. I'd like to invite you to be part of the show as a guest to share your inspiring story, or as an audience member to be part of the conversation. All you have to do is reach out to us via the number on your screen.